I just moved from Chicago to Barcelona 2 months ago now. I feel like my brain is just constantly undergoing rewiring. One of the biggest differences I've noticed is the social culture here. Like in the States, I would have to plan 1-2 weeks in advance just to see my friends for like one day on the weekend. But here I see my friends much more frequently and without much planning. I can pretty much just text any of my friends on the day of and ask if they want to grab a coffee, grab a beer, what they're doing later. Another big difference that I notice is the accessibility to these third spaces. So spaces apart from where you work or where you live, where you can socialize. Here in Barcelona, I feel like it is far more accessible compared to Chicago. Chicago has great bars and restaurants, don't get me wrong, but here in Barcelona, you have so many options and almost everything is within walking distance. And it's the norm to just hang out with your friends at a bar for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours and just kill time, have some food, have some drinks, hang out. In Chicago, if I told you that I spent 5 hours at a bar on a Wednesday, that probably has a whole nother connotation. That was a little bit of an extreme example, but you get the point. Another thing I've noticed is that people don't really like to commit to things here. This is kind of a double-edged sword. On one side, it makes it nice because you can make spontaneous plans, but this was one of the most frustrating things for me when I first moved here. I would text people and try to set up plans for a week, 2 weeks in advance, because to me that was normal. And people either just wouldn't reply or the day would come around and even though they said yes, I would just get ghosted. Until I learned that people literally don't plan more than 1, maybe 2 days in advance. Once this clicked for me, things started to happen so much more organically. Prior to that point, I literally just thought that people did not want to hang out with me. I've also noticed that my baseline levels of stress here are so much lower compared to Chicago. So sometimes it was like pulling teeth just trying to make plans to hang out. Everybody's so tired after work. Everybody has work early in the morning. Obviously people also work like early in the morning here, but I don't know, they just seem to have more vitality. Speaking of work, everybody loves to say that the US is live to work and Europe is work to live, which is very cliched, but I am actually starting to see the depth of that. In Chicago, when you meet somebody for the first time, likely the first thing that they're going to ask you is, what do you do? There is just an undertone in most, if not all, conversations that relates back to your work. In contrast, there are people here who I've known for over a year, and I still don't even know what they do. It's just never come up in conversation, and it hasn't really been relevant to our friendship. Now, I'm not saying that you need to up and move to a new country, but what I am going to say is that when you pair the right person with the right place at the right time, there are going to be some incredible doors that will open. I don't know, these are just some thoughts I've been having.
Here's the thing. I'm an American living in Spain and I've been here for 3 years. And I just have to make this video because this is just a difference between living in the United States and living in Spain that I don't think I will ever get over. It is 11:15 at night. I am a 35-year-old woman and I feel completely safe walking around by myself. Obviously, I'm taking safety measures. I don't have my headphones on. I'm walking in a big pedestrian area. I'm walking in an area that's lit. I'm aware of my surroundings. You would never catch me walking in the United States alone at 11:15 at night. And I'm from Kansas, and that's actually pretty relatively safe. But living here in Spain, it is truly just like a whole nother level. And the reason why I think it is so different is because there are people all over the place. The city that we live in is set up where all the lights are very bright, all the streets are open and they're not dark, and there's light everywhere, which makes you feel safer when you can see your surroundings. It's just another reason why I feel like I will truly never leave Spain, given I don't do this often, but when I do, I love that I can.
Why are Italians definitely happier than Americans even though we're broke as fuck? Guys, I'm in a small town called Tarquinia today, right? You go for a walk and you're not surrounded by plastic. The walls next to me are hundreds of years old. And you just walk and boom, you have literally these images. Every single bloody corner. I'm not even in a big city like Florence. Cost of living here is cheap as fuck. Food is amazing and 0-kilometer food, that's how we call it. Everything is literally homegrown, home hunted, home, let's say, fed. And it's all bloody history and it's all integrated into the life of Italians. Just to let you know how integrated it is, guys, this tower here is a house. People live in it. In this case, they have art. It's an art gallery. When you're surrounded by beauty, life gets a little easier. Now, I do not discredit the fact that money is important and that a lot of Italians barely scrape by. The only reason why we still survive is because we operate as communities, making money in a family and bringing it to the house and living together, because we don't have the capacity to live by ourselves like Americans do. Then again, it compensates with this. Whenever I come back, I admit that the marketing appeal of what I see just by walking around always compels me, almost forces me to stay. Then I always go back into my thoughts and realize why I am in America, why I like America. I always want to come back. Anyway, guys, if you want to visit Italy properly, perhaps you should follow my account because I have some really big plans for you. I'm sick to see how tourist traps are trapping Americans in high costs and shit services. I would like you to experience what the real Italy is, which is my country. It normally occurs at a lower price of what you normally pay by these tourist traps. Honestly, it's much more enjoyable. You see the real history. So here, guys, is Tarquinia. This is a city that operated before the Romans even existed. This is the true Italian history.